Good morning. I hope that you're reasonably okay this morning, because that's the best thing to be, isn't it? Reasonably okay, reasonably alright. That if you're not, that you'll be able to sort of get over all your aches and pains or troubles and feel better ASAP, as they say. And of course we send out our healing thoughts and our prayers for ourselves, of course, and also for all those others that we care about, and for people that we don't actually know, but we know are in trouble of one kind or another. And we always think of the sort of wider picture of the world and all the people in it, all struggling to get by each hour, basically, and sending out love and positive thoughts. It's so important, isn't it? Because we are beset by negativity. It comes at us from all sides, and it's very difficult to escape that. Of course, there is a sort of psychic exercise that I used to explain, passed on, because I was taught in my time. Of course, I had to be taught things. We're all ignorant until we find out how stuff works and what goes on. And this sort of, if you like, psychic exercise is how to cover yourself up. In your mind, you cover yourself with perhaps sort of a see-through sheet, or a sort of a bag that you can see through. You can sort of step into it, tie it up over your head in your mind's eye, and it should help protect you, make you feel more protected from the environment in which you're in. It's particularly useful, of course, if you have to go into places where people are sick, where there are negativity thoughts and trials and tribulations. It's a good idea to sort of isolate yourself, not in a way that anybody can perceive, but in a way that you understand and feel that you're actually separated and defended from what's going on around you. But don't forget, you get this sort of see-through bag, if you like, over your, step into it, over your head, tied up, imagine it tied, and you'd be surprised it actually does work. If you do that before you go into a supermarket or into a hospital or any crowded place, it does actually afford you protection from receiving those, waves of negativity and not niceness that goes on. Unfortunately, I saw they were showing on the news something about a gaming place that these sort of video games, and it showed a clip of one of their sequences, and it was absolutely disgusting. Can't tell you. It's appalling, to fill young people's heads with violence and destruction, aggression and nastiness and violence. So awful. Those of us who've experienced violence in our lives from all kinds of different areas, and I tell you, it's not nice. And the only way people are going to watch this is if they are the perpetrators and not the victims. And of course history was written by the victors, as we know. But the thing is this, that to have that sort of feeling that you are the aggressor all the time and not the victim, you have to put yourself in the other person's shoes, don't you? To think about how a victim feels, not to look upon it as an objective lesson in violence, that you're not going to feel anything. That's the other thing, because it's virtual reality. The reality is that if you get punched or hurt, it does hurt. My face is testimony to that. If you think it's a little odd, I always had a sort of certain oddness about it. My nose was broken twice. If you find my eyes a bit strange, it's because it was punched flat. My eyeball is not round anymore, it's flattened. It was flattened. by a blow, and you know, all sorts of things, and of course operations. Oh, the operations. You know, I had a tumour taken out of my face, and I've had a cancer clipped off my tongue, and all sorts of things, and off bits and bobs of my face. But you know, the thing is that I find it, if you know, you mustn't put yourself in the shoes of the aggressor or the perpetrator of violence. You must always consider how the victim must feel, and play the role of the victim, and get some empathy and understanding inside you. Of course, because you're speaking with me, you're my friend, and or somebody I don't know who is friendly. The point is that we must try our best to be kind to other people, and I think that the best, you know, the best essay on kindness was written by St. Paul, and Paul himself was you could say he wasn't a very nice person. You know, he'd lived his life, his early life. He was actually a persecutor of the followers of Jesus. He was happily having a go at all of them, and you know, he was fixed, of course, in his ideas and his ways, and yet he found his calling, and he followed the very man that he was maligning at one time, and he became really the founder of the Christian religion as we know it, because he basically took up his cross and followed the Master. And you can find what he got up to in the Bible, because the Bible is a pretty historic document. You know, it was put together, you know, as a witness account years after all these things took place. But at the same time, Judaism itself still has an oral tradition. I was told by my grandfather what tribe I was from and where we'd been 500-600 years ago, 700 years ago, and before that. So then I wrote it down. So you could say that I was writing something down that took place 500 years ago on the say-so of my granddad, who told me, what, maybe 60 years ago. So you know, it doesn't make it false, although sometimes it could be embellished, and some things could be taken out. Well, Paul set up churches, didn't he? And he set up a church in Corinth, and he wrote this letter probably around 20 years after Jesus was executed, and he had received letters himself complaining about the church in Corinth and asking for his counsel, for his advice. And fortunately, because they'd sort of been misbehaving or carrying on a bit alarming, we have these letters, which is marvellous. And one of the most important things he wrote in this letter, hold on, I'm reading, getting through the Bible as we speak. Now, here we are. Now, this is his first letter to the church in Corinth, and he is written this particular piece of his letter that is often quoted, and he says, if you want to see it, it's 1 Corinthians chapter 13. and it would help if I could see better, but there we are. And Paul wrote, if I can speak in the tongues of men and even of angels, but have not love, I am only a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all the secret truths and mysteries and possess all knowledge, and if I have faith so that I can remove mountains but have not love, I am nothing. Even if I dole out all that I have, food, and if I surrender my body to be burned, or in order that I may glory, but I have not love, I gain nothing. Love endures long, and is patient and kind. Love never is envious, nor boils over with jealousy, is not boastful or vainglorious, does not display itself haughtily, it is not conceited and inflated with pride. It is not rude and does not act unbecomingly. Love does not insist on its own rights or its own way, for it is not self-seeking, it's not touchy, it takes no account of the evil done to it, and it pays no attention to a suffered wrong. It does not rejoice at injustice and unrighteousness, but rejoices when right and truth prevail. Love bears up under anything and everything that comes, is ever ready to believe the best of every person. Its hopes are fadeless under all circumstances, and it endures everything. Love never fails. As for prophecy, it will be fulfilled and pass away. As for tongues, they will be destroyed and cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. It will lose its value. For our knowledge is fragmentary, and our prophecy is fragmentary. But when the complete and perfect comes, the incomplete and imperfect will vanish away and will be superseded. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. Now that I have become a man, he writes, I am done with childish ways and have put them aside. For now we are looking in a mirror that gives only a dim reflection. But then we see in reality and face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know and understand, even in the same manner as I have been fully and clearly known and understood. And so faith, hope, love abide. Love, true affection, love for and in these three, but the greatest of these is love. So faith, hope and love, and the greatest of these is love. And of course, where you've got love, you don't have any violence. And the strange thing is that quite often you get told, or people get told, that they are loved, and then the person who tells them they are loved actually commits violence against them, whether it's mental or physical. And this we have to guard against. And I hope that you have a read of that yourself. Now, the big thing is, now there's, whatever work we do, we should do for the glory of God. So from the very most menial task that we have to do in our daily lives to the most lofty. And we can hear there an essential service being made. It's a kind of heavy duty lawnmower. And quite extraordinary. I do apologise for the noise, but we'll make a greater noise, won't we? And here we have, F-35s. Well, defender of our freedom, defenders of our democracy. Now, I was going to say that our friends in the spirit world, including St. Paul, will hear our prayers and our thoughts, and to prove that, she says, with conviction, I'm going to open this little hymn book that's been around the world with me and read you something from it that should prove, that will prove that they've been listening to what we've been talking about. And I shall just say to them, please, you can do this yourself, you know. I'm going to open this where it says, loving Father, thou art near me, with the angels standing by, and thy gentle hand is on me, and thy love is very nigh. Every sweet and treasured blessing, all pure, bright and happy things, come to me by angels guided, shielded by their gracious wings. They have kept me, they have loved me, they have held me by the hand. All day long they hover round me, and at night they near me stand. Let me bless thee, let me love thee, let me give thee all my heart, never from thy home to wander, never from thy hand to part. Bless my friends, so dear and gentle, bless my dear ones standing by, for like thee their hands are on me, and their love is ever nigh. Well, we were talking about love, weren't we? And now, the New Spiritual Society UK hymn book that I've produced myself. It says some favourite hymns with an introduction and epilogue by me. I shall ask them. Let's see. Just open any page, don't we? Now I've got the contents page. Here we are. God be with you till we meet again. By his counsel's guide uphold you. With his arms securely fold you. God be with you till we meet again. Till we meet, until we meet, until we meet at Jesus' feet. Till we meet, God be with you till we meet again. God be with you till we meet again. Neath his wings securely hide you. Daily manna still provide you. God be with you till we meet again. God be with you till we meet again. When life's perils thick confound you, put his arms unfailing around you. God be with you till we meet again. God be with you till we meet again. Keep love's banner floating o'er you, smooth life's troubled way before you, till we meet again. And then on the other page, which I feel I should read, just under that is morning has broken. Morning has broken like the first morning, and blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the springing fresh from the word. And of course, the word is also in this Bible that we just read from. And we've got this lovely reading here for us. The cold wind in the winter, the pleasant summer sun, the ripe fruits in the garden, he made them every one. The tall trees in the greenwood, the meadows for our play, the rushes by the water, together every day. He gave us eyes to see them and lips that we might tell how great is God Almighty, who has made all things well. Now a bird came and sat by me and then flew off. You may have heard his wings fluttering. Thou great first course, least understood, who all my sense can find, to know but this, that thou art good, and that myself am blind. Teach me to feel another's woe, to hide the fault I see, that mercy I to others show, that mercy show to me. Save me alike from foolish pride, or impious discontent, at aught thy wisdom has supplied, or aught thy goodness lent. And that, of course, by Alexander Pope. he didn't live such a exemplary early life himself, but he wrote wonderful, wonderful words. And thou great first cause, God, least understood, and telling us to feel another's woe. This is what we were talking about, wasn't it? So how relevant, how relevant. It would be nice to think that Alexander Pope himself was having a listen and thought, I'll suggest my words. So just to tell us that they're there, and I hope you've enjoyed this little chat. It hasn't gone on too long for you, and we shall ask for a blessing for all those who are sick and suffering today, that it may please the Great Spirit, the good Lord, to heal them. Amen. Right, well, I shall go off now, and what I'll do, I'll make a little video of the garden, practicing the birds, just a couple of minutes worth, to put up with this one, so that you can see where I've been sitting. Bye for now. Bye. Bye.